So today we're going to be hooking up some solar panels in 72 volt configuration for solar pump controllers. So down here you can see that we've got a solar pump controller, we've got an isolator switch, extension cables, and we've also got our Y joiners or MC4 connectors. Over here you can see that we've got our panels laid out. So we've got 6 panels, and what we'll be doing is we'll be putting 3 panels in series and then putting 2 sets into parallel. So let's start off by grabbing our negatives and our positive, connecting them together from one panel to the next. If you're having trouble identifying which is your positive and which is your negative, down here on the box you can see that on here is the negative symbol and on here is the positive symbol. Okay, so we've done our first 2, so we'll move on to our third one, and we'll go positive to negative. Okay, now that we've done that, we'll do our second set. So, same thing, positive to negative, and positive, over to negative. Okay. Alright, now that these are in series, we're going to put them into parallel. So we'll grab our Y joiners or double adapters. We'll start with the positive side, and we plug that into there. Take the other panel's positive, plug it into there as well. Now we'll come over to the negative side and plug that in there and that one into there. Okay, so now that we've done that, what we're going to need we're going to take our extension cables, being very careful not to damage the insulation wall. Okay. Now, with our extension cables, if you've got a cable such as this, where they're joined together, you can separate them into single core cables. This doesn't compromise any of the efficiency or any of the safety ratings. It just simply separates the 2 different strands from each other. Go. Okay, so we've got our positive there and our negative here. Okay, now depending on how your frame is set up, you might want to have it set up on the end, or you might want to have it set up in the middle. Now, what you generally have next is your solar isolator. So you should have your isolator wired up, such as this. You've got your incoming solar power here and your outgoing solar power there. So you take your extension cable and plug them into here. Now, if you've got a multimeter, it's always a good idea to double check that your voltage is the right polarity and that you're getting a reasonable amount of voltage before you connect it in. So we make sure that the isolator switch is in the off position, and then we plug those in to there and into there. Okay, so now you've got your incoming solar set up. Now it's time to connect your isolator to the pump controller. So you can see here on the pump controller you've got your positive marked with red, negative marked with black, and the MC4 connections are only able to go one way. So we go positive and negative. Okay, now that that's all hooked up, you can turn your solar isolator on, and if your panels are facing the correct way, you'll be able to see power come up on your solid.
Commodore